Well, oh man. We have things to talk about. Hello, everybody. Hey, Abe, what's up, buddy? Well, thank you for popping in right quick. I'm sure that most Dolphins fans are kind of sad right now. I'll admit that I'm a little sad too, especially after just yesterday on Ace Per Head's live stream. I said that I genuinely thought that Calais Campbell was going to come back, especially with that whole money situation happening. I got that one wrong. Way off. Um, I'll say I'm not mad, like a lot of people are. You've seen some of these. Some guys are really upset about it, and I can't say I'm mad. I can't say I blame anybody else for being mad. What's up, buds? How's it going, guys? Good to see you. I'm gonna try to explain how I'm feeling about this, and hopefully I'm not the only one that's not mad at Calais Campbell for this. I mean, we had to kind of, in our truest of truths, kind of think that maybe he wasn't gonna be back, and I kind of thought that, but after the money thing happened with Zach Wilson and stuff, I was kind of thinking, man, I think that he's gonna come back, and then sure enough, he's not coming back. I'll talk about all that in a minute here. And Armstead too. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm bummed, but like I said, not mad. I can't blame Calais Campbell, especially when you think about the fact that the man has played on a bunch of different teams in the NFL, but he spent 9 years in Arizona, and a lot of people are forgetting this. He started his career in Arizona. I'm from Arizona, so I kind of I follow the Cardinals a lot, even though I'm not a Cardinals fan. I grew up going to Cardinals games because that's where I lived, and so I've always kind of had a soft spot in my heart for him. I follow him, and man, I don't blame him for wanting to go back. He said that he wants to go where it all started and finish his last year with that team, and I get it. I understand. Um, just not the coolest thing in the world, especially when you think, we were really kind of needing another defensive lineman, and that is what it is. But I'm not mad at him. I can't blame him. The man's put so much effort into the NFL, and not just for a certain team, but for the players' union, and all the stuff that he's done for the NFL, for players, for fans, for just helping people out. Community service. The man is just amazing, and I wish him nothing but luck. I'm super happy that he's going where he wants to go. That's the bottom line. And so, yeah, it sucks for us. We'll be okay. And for those, there's some people that are really upset about it, like saying, "Oh, what are we gonna do now?" Well, like, let me just give you this, and you guys can do with it what you want. Okay. In last year for Miami, he had 5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. He played 58% of snaps on defense. That's that's not bad stats. I mean, obviously he's a great player, and I'm not saying that, but I'm also going to say, and I'm going to venture this, and hopefully people understand when I say this, it's not neck breaking awesome play. Okay? It's good play. He played great. But those stats aren't something that we can't find somewhere else. We'll be okay. Will we have, another Calais Campbell? Will we have that kind of quality leadership in the locker room? I don't know. Yeah, he's something else in the locker room. So I don't know. What I do know is we have opportunities to make things right. We have a good draft coming up. There's still free agency, and just yesterday, McDaniel said, "Hey, we're not done in free agency." So I'm gonna take him at his word, because if you look at, there's some websites that rank coaches and how they how they talk to the media and how honest they are. And Mike McDaniel is like number 2 or number 3 most honest coach in the NFL as ranking for like how he talks to the media. So I'm gonna take him at his word that they're not done in free agency, and in obviously they're not done in the draft. So I think we're gonna be okay. It sucks right now because we have nothing at defensive tackle. I mean, we have Sealer, and we have a couple guys that are going to be probably practice squad players. But we're gonna need more. We're gonna need some things. So it is what it is. I now I'm all second guessing myself on my thoughts about Teron Armstead. I don't even know what to think there now, and it's like, man, I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Armstead's coming back or what? I'm kind of curious what everybody else thinks. I'm just not sure myself. I think, yeah, Abel. I think that going defensive tackle, it's given a big bump. But my only thought there is there's not a whole lot at cornerback in the draft. I mean, there is in the first round. Definitely, there's some quality cornerbacks in the first round, and I feel like still, if that first round pick comes up and we have that that player that we want, one of those players that we want, and whatever of those 4 positions that we need, O-line, tackle, safety, cornerback, I feel like no matter what, we should take it. I don't know what's going to be there. And only time's going to be able to tell that, So it does look tempting, though. The defensive tackle at 13, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of on the I'm a little more leaning towards a no on Armstead. Um it's just so much to deal with. It's just not sure. And I'm sorry, I'm messing around a little bit here. I've been using OBS Studios for my live streaming since I started doing this, and I just switched to Streamlabs, and I'm kind of learning that one now. So still trying to figure out all the ins and outs, like getting my chat to show properly and everything else. So bear with me. I'm doing the best I can, being this technologically challenged truck driver here in Alaska. I'm doing the best I can here. I want to say Teron Armstead will be back. I'm hoping for it, but after the Calais thing here, I'm kind of thinking I'm just gonna wait it out and see. I'm definitely not mad. I don't think we should be mad, and I don't think we can be mad. There's some people saying, this is a sign that no one wants to sign with Miami, and this is an indication of the identity and stuff in Miami. And yeah, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Like I said, we can't get. They say we can't get Calais to sign with Miami, and we can't even offer him. We could have offered him $5.5 million. That's what he signed for. 5.5 guaranteed for 1 year, and Campbell's also can make upwards to 7.5. That's his max. We could have offered that. We likely did, but I guarantee you Calais didn't sign with the Cardinals because of Miami. I think he signed with the Cardinals because he wants to finish his career where he started it. I think that he wants to go back to Arizona. You can't just take the easy way and say, "Oh, it's because of Miami." That's such a lazy take. I can't get behind that one. Like I said, I can understand people thinking that, and maybe even saying it here and there, but it's not something I'm gonna say. I don't really feel that way. I just feel like I don't think that's it. That's not what this seems like to me. Oh, it's bugging the crap out of me. Also, if you look above my head, I have a really sweet neon Dolphins sign that I got. And now this is just it's a constant need for upgrades with this YouTube channel thing that I've been doing. Constant need. You got this I got this stupid sign, and it's making me realize, man, I really need to get a better camera. This is the second camera I've upgraded. I keep feeling the need for more, and here I am again thinking I need to go spend $700 or $800 on a new camera. I don't know. During the summer, I do forest fire calls and stuff. So I think if I get another call for a forest fire this summer, I run a water cannon. It's pretty cool job. So if I get another one of those jobs, I get paid a bunch of money. So if that happens, I'll buy a new camera. Until then, this is what I'm dealing with. I got this sign that you can't hardly even see. You can't even hardly tell what it is, and there's nothing I can do. I can't. All I see is just a blur of white on my screen. I don't know. Do you guys see something different? Yeah, I would have thought that he would have gone back to Baltimore, but I mean, sure enough, as soon as we think something like that, look what happens. I actually, when I was thinking about him going somewhere, that it never even occurred to me that he was gonna go to Arizona, ever. I was thinking Baltimore all the way too, and here we are. Just unreal. Never thought that would happen, but that's where he ended up going. I guess I think. Oh, I don't want to do that. Apparently, on StreamYards, I can put use commenters in timeout. uh, yeah. So, Calais Campbell's gone, and that is what it is. That is not a. Uh, that is not uh, an April Fool's joke. That's actually what's happening. And as far as Armstead goes, I mean, we're gonna find out about him next for sure. But I don't think that he's going to be. I don't think that. Well, it's going to be a little different because he's not going to be going to a different team. He's either going to retire or he's going to end up playing for Miami. And we have Patrick Paul, and some people are really down on Patrick Paul. I'm not down on Patrick Paul for number one. I actually like Patrick Paul, and I think that I want to word this correctly. He's obviously got lots of room to grow, and he could play better. Yes, but his first year, second round pick, had significant playing time. Not a lot, but came in when we need him to and did a serviceable job. I don't think we can be upset about that. In fact, I'm kind of encouraged with his play last year. He did have some small issues. He kind of let his feet get out from underneath him a couple times, and um, if you watch some of the all 22 footage, you could see him take the wrong step a couple times, and then correct for it. But definitely took the wrong initial step on a couple snaps, and because of that, ended up getting himself into some compromising positions in pass blocking. But aside from that, I think he played really well, and having this whole offseason to work, knowing he's on the team, no draft crap, no combine, none of that, just work. That's all he's got to do. I think he's going to have a massive improvement. So if Teron Armstead steps down and retires this year, I don't think it's going to hurt as much as the Calais Campbell going with Arizona thinks hurts. I think that hurts way more. So if Teron retires, it's sad, and I'll be sad to see him go. But we have a person in line. We have the heir to the tackle position ready to go, and I like him a lot. I like Paul. So I think that, like you said, Zonka, it's time for Patrick Paul to step up. I agree. And I think we should be treating, and like Mike McDaniel said, we're treating it like he's not coming back. And I think that's the smart way to go. Have Patrick Paul prepare like it's his position. Have him prepare like he's going to be the man. So as long as he continues to improve and doing the things he's supposed to be doing, I have no problem with Patrick Paul playing. The Calais Campbell one does hurt. I don't know what to do there. I don't know how we're going to cover for that. It's unrealistic to say, oh, we just need to draft 2 tackles in the draft and call it good. No, it's not just not that simple. We can't do that. We can't. We got. It's going to take more than just drafting 2 tackles. Realistically, we're only going to be able to. We have other needs, right? And the way the draft is working, we're going to be able to pick some of those needs up. But if we try to get two defensive tackles, say the first 2 rounds, we're sacrificing other big needs that we have. So we could definitely get a starting quality defensive tackle in the first 2 rounds, for sure. But we also have other needs. We need a cornerback, we need a safety, and we desperately need offensive linemen. Yes, the offensive line, we could probably stretch back to 3rd, maybe 4th round and get a serviceable player, that could make a difference this year. It's not, keep in mind, as far as our offensive line goes, it's not going to take much to improve our offensive line beyond what we had. It's really not. And there's still a couple offensive linemen still in free agency available for a smaller amount of money, not a ton, and not, a tiny amount, but decent prices for a couple guys that I would love to have on this team. I don't care what anybody says about Fernandez from Arizona. I would love to have him. I'd love to have him. I'd also love to have Brandon Scherf. At either one of those players, we could pick up and instantly improve our team. I know Hernandez has some injury issues, but he was healthy aside from the one injury he had last year. And he's not super old. So I don't see that as injury history as to the point where it would be not worth looking into him. I think that would be a good pickup for Miami. If we picked up a couple offensive linemen in free agency, that would relieve a little bit of pressure in the draft and allow us to really think we need to draft an offensive lineman still, but we could focus on those other 3 positions a little more. And seeing as how we're down defensive tackles, that could be what we need. A little bit of space to be able to step back and go, well, we can put that offensive line draft, those offensive lineman picks back a little bit, because there's decent offensive linemen up and down the draft in all rounds. It's just a matter of, do you have time to develop them, or do you have to have them start immediately and make a difference? Well, we could take some time if we picked up 1 or 2 in free agency. And Brandon Scherf is good. There's a couple other ones too. Dalton Risner's still out there. We could pick him up. I think he's a little older, but he's not old. He could still make a huge difference. Plugging immediately any of those 3 players into our offensive line would be an instant improvement than what compared to what we've had. It would be immediate. So there's things we can do to make it okay. It's just the expectation for all-star players at every position, which a lot of Dolphins fans seems to have. I don't understand where we get that entitlement from. We've never had that kind of a team. We've never been the New York Yankees or the Dodgers. We've never been those teams. First of all, there's a salary cap in the NFL. How can you expect us to go and sign every good player that you see available in free agency? How can people expect that? You can't. You can't. So here we sit, brokenhearted. Oh, we lost one of our favorite tackles. We did. It hurts. But it's not the end of the world. And with the youth movement that we have going on here, This is an opportunity for someone to step up, for someone to come in and step up, or someone who's already here to step up. I just don't know if any of those players are actually going to. So, I don't know, guys. I'd like to know what do you guys think here? What do you guys think? Do you think that we can still pull this off and put together a team that's improved over last year? Because I do. I do think we can put together a team that's improved. Are we putting together the team with a bunch of names that people are going to recognize? Probably not. But some of the better teams and more surprising teams that have, especially in recent years, some of those teams have a bunch of no names on them. And let me ask you this question, and this is an important question. Would you rather have a team full of individuals with big names, or would you rather have a team full of no-name players that play well together? I don't know if our team is gonna play well together, but I like the attitude of the players that we've signed. And if you go back and it just takes a little bit of research. It's not much. Just plug the name into Google or plug the name into YouTube and check out some of these players that we've signed. The way they play, the attitude they carry on the field and with their teammates, and what other fan bases say about some of these players tells me that this is leaving room for feeling a little optimistic about the players we've signed. Are they the biggest names? No, they are not. But do they have the ability to play well, be role players, do their jobs, and have a good attitude when they do it? Yeah, I think they do. I think they're fighters. And I want to see what this does for us in those close games. I want to see what these new players can do, these young guys can do in these situations where it's not looking perfect. Do they have that mentality to be able to fight past it? I don't know. No one's going to know that until a few games into the season. So I'm going to withhold my judgment on the team until week 5, week 6 of the season. Until then, it's what I think. It's what I hope. That's all I can talk about. Until we have some palpable amount of information to look at and evaluate. Till then, we won't have it. So all the people saying, oh, it's going to be a 4-13 season and we're going to be terrible. Just give up now. What? Then give up. Just stop. I mean, there's plenty of that. There's plenty of people doing that, and if you're that upset about it, and it affects you that much, find something else to do with your time. We can disagree with things that the team should do. I mean, I disagree with a lot that the team does or has done. But I'm not going to be that. Have you guys ever seen Major League? That movie from the early 90s, I think, is when it came out. It was great. It was a fantastic movie, but there's that fan that started out every year, or started out that last year just, we're horrible, we're terrible, our team sucks, and he sits in the stands, pays his money to go to every game, and sits there with his arms folded and scowls and screams insults at his own team. And that's kind of what a lot of Miami Dolphins fans remind me of. Like, how can we be like that? How can we be like that? We shouldn't. Oh, man. So, no Calais Campbell. No Teron Armstead. I'm thinking. I'm going to go ahead and change my stance and just say, yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I do like the fact that Miami is treating it like he's not coming back, because that's kind of the way you have to do it, I suppose. There was, let's see. The league also made some changes to some rules, too, that I kind of wanted to run through. And some of them are no big deal. Some of them are good, They changed the alignment of the receiving team's kick returners on the kickoff, and I don't really have that picture yet of what that realignment is supposed to look like. As soon as I get it, I'll put a picture up in a video so everybody can see it, and I'll explain it fully. But until then, that's all I really know there. They're also going to change the dead ball spot after the touchback. If there's a touchback on the kickoff, it's going to be moved up to the 35-yard line. Ooh, that one I'm not too sure about. If they move it up to the 35-yard line, and let's say it's at the end of a game and you're down and there's a touchback, they are going to be put on the 35. And that means they got to go 30 yards to get into a. Let's see. They got to go 30 yards to get into a 52-yard field goal. Jeez. That just doesn't seem like a lot is needed now to get yourself into position to make that game-winning kick. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're going to do there, but that's definitely going to encourage teams to not go for touchbacks anymore. That'll do it. You don't want the team getting the ball at the 35-yard line. You're going to have to. Kickers are going to be important this year. This is the one that's big. The overtime rules have been changed. So regular season overtime rules, they changed it. It used to be where if a team got the ball first in overtime, they took the ball down and scored a touchdown, the game was over. It happened to Miami last year against the Jets. We got the ball first, we went down and scored a touchdown, game over. It's not going to be that way this year. This year, no matter what, each team gets a possession. So even if that team gets the ball first in overtime, scores a touchdown, the other team is going to have a chance. Now, here's the only caveat. There's a 10-minute limit on the overtime period, but it's not going to be played out the whole way. So if a team goes and scores a touchdown, misses the extra point, and then the other team gets the ball, goes down and scores a touchdown and makes their extra point, the game is over. So it's not going to be playing out that entire 10 minutes unless it's necessary. So I think that's going to be. I like that rule. Even though the Dolphins wouldn't have won, well, they might have, who knows. But that Jets game that we played, the first Jets game, if this was the situation for that game, we would have had to kick the ball off to the Jets after they scored a touchdown with Jonnu. We would have had to kick the ball off to the Jets, and they would have had a chance to score. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. I like that rule. I think it's certainly more fair. So, I think just because a team scores a touchdown right off the bat in overtime, that doesn't necessarily mean they should win the game. So, I'm good with that. Let's see. Instant replay has been augmented slightly. So, and this basically means that certain penalties that have been called on the field, as long as a flag has been thrown, that can be challenged now. And I think that's a great thing because referees get these calls wrong a lot. And I'm not throwing shade at the referees. That's a hard thing to do, to get every single thing right in these plays. So now, for certain kind of flags that are thrown, you can challenge that flag and say, hey, I don't think that was a penalty. They'll go back and look at it, and if it wasn't a penalty, then they'll stop it, turn it around, and reverse the call. And that's a good thing. There's been a couple changes to bylaws, like designated players for return, when they reduced the roster to 53 players at the end of the preseason. Let's see. There's a change in DFRs that changed the maximum from 8 to 10. These are things that really are kind of whatevers. And they've inserted in the bylaws, they've inserted point differential as the third tiebreaker for awarding contracts. So these are whatever. It's small potatoes. It's important information for people, signing contracts, things like that. But for us, it's whatever. Let's see. The other one that I wanted to mention. So this one kind of gets me. So for during week 17 and 18 of the season, if there's a team that's clinched a playoff spot, try to follow me on this one. This one's weird. During week 17 and 18, if there's a team that's clinched a playoff spot, clubs that are hosting a wild card game are required to provide scouting credentials to all teams within the same conference who are participating in the postseason. So this allows. Where's the rule change where we can cook the Bills in the sun again? No joke. Seems like the Bills complain about it, and now now there's no game against the Bills in the early regular season anymore, and if there is, it's going to be in Buffalo. But we have to go play all these teams in the cold and snow. I mean, it's stupid. Good point. Yeah. So basically, that last rule changes. We have to, let's say we make the playoffs. We can go scout potential playoff teams that we're going to be facing in that wild card round. We can go scout those teams by sending scouts to week 17 and 18 games. And furthermore, the team that we're going to go scout, if we decide to scout them, they have to provide us press credentials. So those credentials allow us, they're like tickets, like close tickets or skybox. Basically, we have to be allowed to be in the stadium to watch the game and scout the other team that we might be playing in the playoffs. I find that a little weird. I don't know about that. That seems a little strange to me, but I mean, stranger things have happened. It'll be interesting to see how that happens. I don't know if you guys remember, that's one of the things that Bill Parcells got in trouble for. And now they're making it a rule. It's weird. It's really weird. If you get a chance, go look at those new rule addendums. That's strange. So that's kind of the changes. They ended up putting off the vote for the tush push. They had a vote for tush push, and 16 out of the 32 teams voted to do away with the tush push and make it illegal. But you need 24 out of 32 owners need to vote to change the rule before they change it. So it's still a rule. It's still allowed as of now, but they're going to readdress it in May, whatever that means. I guess they're going to have another vote in May to see if owners have changed their mind about it. But I don't think. What's up? Good to see you, dude. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. And I don't really think that. I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. It is what it is. Some rule changes. I feel like that. If the defense is not allowed to push piles, then why should the offense be allowed? There's already so many things going on in this league to make it so hard on defense to play defense, so hard on defensive players. Why? Oh, why do they continually try to make things harder on defense? It's an advantage I don't think that offenses should have. It's not a slight towards Philadelphia. Obviously, the way Philadelphia runs the tush push or the brotherly shove or whatever they want to call it so they don't sound gay, it is what it is. That they're good at running that play, and not every team in the NFL can do it. That's for sure. So it's not a slight against them. It's just in the way the game should be played and in the spirit of the game, it doesn't seem like it should be. It doesn't seem like it should be allowed, and that's my stance on it. I feel like it should be nixed from the game, but who knows? So they're going to revote on it in May. We'll see how that goes. Even with Campbell off to AZ, I still think Barron is my top choice at 13. That's what I mentioned in the very beginning of the stream. I was saying that I don't think that just because Campbell's not here, I didn't think that he should be, or I don't think that should augment what we're wanting to do in the draft. And if you look at what's available in the draft this year and where they're kind of sticking in the pecking order right now, according to the big board. Any big board, pick one. It doesn't matter. You can see these trends in it. And there's not many cornerbacks outside of that first round that are going to be available that are of any real quality. So I still feel like cornerback or defensive tackle are really the only, if we can get one in that first round, I think those are the best options we have, because there are safeties down the line in the second, third, and fourth, and even fifth rounds that would be worth bringing in. So I definitely feel like cornerback or defensive tackle in that first round would be the best. But with that, the cornerback availability in this draft is much less. So if we have a Barron, the Texas cornerback, or somebody else, if we have one of those top tier cornerbacks available in the draft at 13, we need to take him. So, like I said, once we get a little closer to the draft, I'm going to go ahead and put in, what I would do. Obviously, people are going to be going crazy with their mock drafts. That's totally up to everybody else. Totally cool. I mess around with it every night and do some. But it's not going to be even close to anything accurate until we get a little closer to the draft. But I do right now feel that cornerback is going to end up being our best bet at that number 1 pick. Defensive tackle, I wouldn't be upset if we picked a defensive tackle in that first round, as long as it was, one of the ones that fits the scheme, not just a big name. Because we have to be smart about what we're doing this year. We can't waste draft picks. So we have to do this smart, and I think that scheme fit and attitude are two things that we have got to focus on above star capability. I really do. I think team fit, scheme fit, and attitude are huge. We're going to have a lesser known group of players this year on this team, and because of that, their attitude and scheme fit has to be spot on. If we don't have that, we're going to be in trouble. Yeah, that's it. That's the only ones that are worth the first round pick. Yep. And there's some good value in round 2 for defensive tackle. Yeah, you're nailing it. That's exactly where we're at. But we can't get out of the third round without having a tackle, a defensive tackle, and a cornerback on our team in the draft. We have got to hit those 2 draft picks in the first 3 rounds. Have to. If we don't, we're in trouble. Because there's just not enough of that floating around in the availability in free agency right now. We do have Julian Blackmon still available, I think. I think Julian Blackmon's still available in free agency, the safety from the Colts. I think that might end up being a good addition too. That would help us out, give us some freedom. Like I said, picking up Brandon Scherf and or Hernandez from Arizona, those 2 guards. If we picked up 1 or 2 of those guys in free agency, that would help huge with our freedom in the draft to be able to pick up defensive tackle and cornerback in those first few rounds and not necessarily worry about offensive line until we get down to the 3rd, 4th round. That would help a bunch. So it's something to think about. Like I said, if you guys go look at those big boards, I recommend looking at something that kind of takes into account everybody else's big board and kind of mashes them together, because that's going to give you the best look at what the actual big board is going to look like. Also, keep in mind, teams are going to team, and when it comes to the draft, just when you think you got it all figured out, somebody's going to do something absolutely insane, and some player is going to be down at the 15, 16 range available that we all thought was going to be taken in the first 7 picks. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of who. And if certain players are sliding down that list, that's going to give us an opportunity to possibly even trade back later into the first round. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. Trading back into the first round for an extra 2nd round pick and a 3rd round, that'd be hard to say no to. Yeah, there's a lot of people hoping for a Hill trade. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that my big concern is the money. A Hill trade pre-June 1st would just kill us in dead cap and salary cap this year. It would just be harsh. It would hurt so much. We wouldn't save any money. So that's the one thing. That's the one thing that gets me. Yeah, Saints. Yep. You guys really think? Do you guys think Jackson Dart's gonna end up going in the first round? Holy crap! That'd be nuts. I feel like the Jets. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a Jets fan, and like not just a Jets fan, like oh like a random I hate everyone Jets fan, but a Jets fan who's actually pretty learned with football and kind of understands how the draft and everything works. He was saying that the Jets are kind of looking at Jackson Dart. I don't know. That'd be kind of weird. And especially since the GM for the Jets just announced that Justin Fields is going to be their starter. He just announced that, so the Saints might reach. I mean, they're trying to get as many rookies. Yeah, they're. You want to talk about? You think we're in cap hell? Oh man, that's nothing compared to old man Saints. Holy cow, those guys are having a hard time. Yeah, the Saints are hurting. You know what? I'm kind of curious. Let me see here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and check this out real quick because I'm curious. I want to know what the Saints are sitting at because I just can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, my cat is screaming. Could he be any more annoying? Saints, where are you? Yeah. I know they're hurting bad. But I'm just not sure. Oh man. The Saints have $52.5 million in dead cap this year. Good grief. Man, that's bad. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's such a Jets thing to do, exactly. Yeah, Membu would be one that I've seen too a lot. Tell you what, I don't know. That's going to be a hard one to pass on too if he shows up. You know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think that once the draft hits, where everything's just going to start taking off. There's going to be a lot of things happening. I just really hope that we. I just hope I wish we could do those two guards or one of those two guards that I mentioned, and maybe even Julian Blackmon from Indianapolis if I'm pretty sure he's still available. The safety from the Colts. If we could do something with him and with Hernandez or Scherf or even Dalton Risner, if we could add one of those players at guard before the draft, gosh, that would give us so much more freedom in the draft to do the other things that we need to do. It would make things a lot easier and certainly be a little more guilt-free trying to go for defensive tackle, cornerback, and safety. And if we had Julian Blackmon, I would be even okay with bumping that safety back a little bit and going for just cornerback and defensive tackle those first 3 or 4 rounds. Making sure we get the players that we want. I guess the point behind all of this is we can be as negative as we want. We can be as upset as we want about Calais Campbell or the fact that Teron Armstead is likely going to retire. We can be as upset as we want. I can't blame players for or team or players. I can't blame fans for being upset because I understand being upset. 26 years, I think 26 years. Yeah, that makes for some extremely jaded fans. Um, but there's there is a way out of this. And so far, the steps that have been made by this organization this year, this offseason, they're steps in the right direction. Are they the biggest names? No, they're not. But we can't go biggest names for every position. They're doing this a different way. You want a different result, you have to do things differently. That's what I keep telling myself in my head is, well, you want something different to happen, you need to do something different to make it happen. So that's kind of how I'm hoping for this to happen. I have to go down. It's nerve-wracking. What are you guys thinking? Optimism levels right now. Let me hear it. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being over the moon, 1 being I hate this team and I'm really thinking it's time to start watching rugby. If that's number 1, and if 10 is over the moon excited, where are you guys sitting right now? That's what I want to know. Yep. That's what I mean. Yeah, things are going to start happening after the draft, for sure. It'd just be nice if a couple small things happened before the draft. Yep, 6. That's a good number. 6. Abel's negative 100. I freaking love you, dude. Negative 100. I wouldn't say I'm negative 100. I'm sitting a solid 6, 6.5. I think that's fair. 5 out of 10 is more than fair. I think I think most people who are, if they're honest with themselves, we can't be totally down right now because some things are looking a little better. I was encouraged, like I talked about in the video. I was encouraged with, or I didn't mention it in the video. I meant to. Mike McDaniel mentioned that he was going to be relying on his coordinators more this year. On his quarterback coach, on his offensive coordinator, his passing game coordinator, all those guys. He's gonna be looking to him a little more to provide him with information to help make decisions faster. Hearing that makes me feel better. Does that mean that he's going to be giving the play calling up to somebody? No, it doesn't. But it means he's going to start delegating some of this stuff off, and I think that's great news. He's got to let go of some of this control. And if he does that, he's going to be able to focus more on the things he needs to focus on. So I think that's a good thing. And people got to think, they got to remember, he went from being a run game coordinator, not an offensive coordinator. People seem to think that Mike McDaniel was an offensive coordinator. He wasn't. He went from run game coordinator to head coach. Yeah. He's not relinquishing all the control. He's just going to give up, like he said. He said he's going to be expecting his coordinator to give him packages, player packages, play packages, and then Mike is going to run from that. And that's a good thing because that's a lot less thought that Mike McDaniel has to put into it. You know what I mean? He's given situational packages and he runs it from there. I think that's pretty good. That's going to be a good start. But Mike McDaniel was never an offensive coordinator. He went from run game coordinator to head coach. So he's young. He's got some learning to do. Like I said, I'm more patient with Mike McDaniel than I am with Chris Grier. So I'm not sure how you guys all feel about that, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. And yeah, last year hurt really bad. But you're ready to get hurt again. You sound like a Dolphins fan. Oh my goodness. We are a weird bunch, aren't we? Yeah. We're always ready to get hurt again. Miami has a football team. Oh, how's it go? We have the Dolphins, the greatest football team. Yep. Sometimes we take the ball from goal to goal. Man. Yep. Yep. Mike needs to step it up this year. You're right. That's exactly what it is. That's one position on this team that definitely needs to step up. I mean, a lot of positions do, but he really does. Yep. And I think him saying it like he did in that press conference yesterday where he was talking about it when he said that he's going to be expecting packages from his coordinator, I think that's a good start. I think that number one, that's letting somebody else have a little bit of input on the play. And I know it's Frank Smith, but I mean, what's that going to hurt? At this point, I think that's going to help Mike McDaniel get the plays in a little faster, if nothing else. Give Tua an extra 1 or 2 seconds to look pre-snap before he has to snap the ball or before he has to start motions. It'd be even better if they would slow down with some of that motion stuff. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be a little better for Mike McDaniel doing the play calling and stuff this year, especially if what he said about packages and stuff being presented to him instead of him selecting everything. I think that's going to be better for him, and I think that'll trickle down and be better for everybody else as well. It'll definitely be easier for us against the play clock. That's for sure. It kind of seems like, well, if Frank Smith isn't calling the plays as the offensive coordinator, what is he doing? If he's not getting packages ready and if he's not presenting all this to Mike and letting him make a call, what's he doing? This is where he needs to start doing his job. So, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. We'll just have to see what happens there, I guess. I know that there's plenty of reasons to be down and out. But like I said, there's so many. Yes. Well, and that's a really simple fix. Stopping with the screens. I'll take it farther. Not just the screen fades to Hill, but the screens, period. Just stop with it. Save it for where they need to be. But the problem with that is that's one of the few ways you can mitigate pass rush, and Tua just has not had time to do anything other than screen passes, really. I mean, he gets lucky every once in a while, but 1.8 seconds, 2.3 seconds, it's not enough time, especially in the NFL. So when our offensive line is playing as bad as they were last year, and they were bad. I don't care what stats anybody shows me. Stats are misleading in some ways, and this is one of them. Our offensive line was horrible. Not just bad, they were horrible. And because they were so horrible, we had to rely on screens just to ease the tension and the pressure on our quarterback. That's what happened. And when that happens, you get screen passes. You get flat passes. You get slants, quick passes, things like that. Because our offensive line was so bad that we couldn't even do our run game when we needed to. So instead of run game, what do? You screen pass, you flat pass, you slant. I mean, it's just what had to happen. And the sad part is they made it work a lot, but not always. You can't do that all the time. And when you're forced to be so one-dimensional on the field, well, we saw what happens. So that's exactly what happens. We wind up in the situation we were in, where teams are able to queue up and tee off on us because they know exactly what we're going to do. The best way to limit an offensive playbook is to have a shoddy offensive line. And that's exactly what happens. No matter how good of a play caller or a play creator Mike McDaniel is or could be, he's never going to be too good to make up for our offensive line. Thanks for coming in, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, anytime. I'd love to come on. Yeah, and that's we're getting up on an hour here, so I'm gonna have to get off here pretty quick too. But I just wanted to say we have all these options and all these things that we can choose to think and how to process this information as Dolphins fans. We have the ability to not be foolishly hopeful, but we have the opportunity to be cautiously optimistic, and that's where I'm at. That's the category that I'm putting myself into. As I'm optimistic, but I'm cautious. I recognize needs. I recognize problems. I know this sport. It's been a part of my life since I was 7 years old. And I'm not talking about watching it. I'm talking about coaching. I'm talking about playing. Since I was 7. I know a little bit about this sport. But the one thing I know above everything else is I know that being a competitor and being a coach, I've learned that attitude and mindset is the most important thing, period. So we got to promote that. That's why I'm doing. That's why I do this the way I do it. I keep a positive outlook because I'm tired of being so negative. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be Mr. Negative. If I don't have something constructive to say, I mean, I can have my issues and I can talk about it on here, and I do. Anybody who watches my videos know that I'll talk about problems. But it's not going to affect my mindset. So don't let it affect yours. You guys all stay positive if you can. And I'll try to get on here maybe in the next couple days. Hopefully something happens. Brandon Scherf, Dalton Risner, Hernandez, somebody. Get us a guard. Get us a DT. I don't think we're going to find a DT until the draft. So thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming in here. Make sure to throw down a like button on your way out. Comment any questions you have. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't.